The world of One Piece isn't just dominated by emperors and marines. Some of the fiercest, most legendary figures on the seas are women. From ruthless pirates to revolutionary leaders, these characters aren't just sidekicks, they shape the entire story. So today, we're ranking the top 15 best female characters in One Piece. This isn't just about strength, we're judging impact, backstory, and sheer badassery. Will your favorite make the list? Let's set sail. Starting off at number 15, Kalifa. As a previous member of CP9 and a current member of CP0, Kalifa has made an impact in One Piece throughout the series. While she is at first introduced as Iceberg's secretary, it is soon revealed that she is actually an undercover agent for the world government. Iceberg was not the only one reeling in shock, as fans were stunned to find that she, Rob Lucci, Kaku, and Blueno were actually double agents. This served as the catalyst for Nico Robin's temporary departure from the crew, as well as the Straw Hats' official declaration that they were going to war against the world government. Post-timeskip, Kalifa plays a similar role. Now, a member of CP0, Kalifa was part of the team that was sent to apprehend Vivi. Having successfully done so, she shows her truly villainous nature as she taunts the princess with the fact that she will probably become enslaved to a world noble once her use runs out. It is this unabashed villainy that made her rank modestly among the best One Piece women. At number 14, Kozuki Hiyori. Kozuki Hiyori was a mysterious character. At first, introduced as someone who preyed on unsuspecting men, she seemed somewhat villainous. The fact that she was clearly favored by the antagonist Orochi didn't help this perception. However, it is eventually revealed that the men she left in poverty all contributed to the downfall of Wano Kuni and the death of her father. As the daughter of Kozuki Oden, Hiyori felt a deep need for revenge after his death, but managed to keep her patience. She eventually plays a critical role in the takedown of Orochi. First, she nursed Zoro back to health after his altercation with Kamazo the Manslayer, who is revealed to be Kid, and then keeps Orochi occupied during the Onigashima raid by piercing him with a sea stone nail. Evidently, her subtle actions in Wano greatly aided the restoration of her country. Number 13 goes to Kuina. Even though she has very little screen time, Kuina plays a hugely important role in One Piece. As the childhood rival of Zoro, she pushed him to his limits. The reason that he developed the three-sword style was in an attempt to finally get the upper hand in one of their fights. As this is the style that he becomes known for long after Kuina's death, her part in its development is significant. Furthermore, Zoro's goal of becoming the greatest swordsman created as part of a pact with Kuina. After she expresses concern about growing weaker as she gets older, he asserts that one of them will stand at the top. As such, Kuina was integral in the initial formation of Zoro's dream. While he eventually wants to become the strongest to help Luffy obtain his goal too, Kuina's presence never completely goes away. At number 12, it's Vinsmoke Reiju, Sanji's older sister and the only daughter of the Vinsmoke family. Reiju, unlike her sadistic brothers and cruel father, charmed the fans instantaneously upon her introduction in the Whole Cake Island arc. While Sanji is interacting with his family after leaving the Straw Hat crew, albeit temporarily, it is revealed that Reiju learned to mask her more compassionate nature while secretly detesting the acts of her brothers and father. This was vital in order to survive in the ruthless Vinsmoke household. Nevertheless, Reiju has always been a kind woman and was the only person in Sanji's abusive childhood, aside from his mother, Sora, whom he remembers with warmth. She was also the one to encourage Sanji to leave the abuse. Intelligent, rational, and incredibly strong, Reiju becomes a valuable ally to the Straw Hats and acts as a key figure in the development of Sanji's backstory. Coming in at 11 is Stussy. Initially introduced as the Queen of the Pleasure District during One Piece's Whole Cake arc, Stussy was an interesting, although not entirely captivating character. Once it is revealed that she is actually an agent of CP0, however, she becomes much more intriguing. She has a strategic mind and a ruthless streak that allows her to take down her enemies quickly. It is soon revealed, though, that she wasn't only undercover at the behest of the world government. Instead, she was truly working for Dr. Vegapunk, who created her as a clone of one of the members of the Rock's pirates. She was crucial in the quick takedown of Kaku and Lucci on Egghead Island, and is willing to sacrifice herself once the five elders begin attacking, proving her selfless spirit. As she even states that she wants to spare Kaku if possible, it is clear she has a good heart at her core. Number 10 goes to Kikunojo. Kikunojo of the Fallen Snow was one of Kozuki Oden's 9 red scabbards, and one of the best fighters in Wano Kuni. First mentioned during the Amazon Lily arc, as her name is on one of the matchups for the arena battle, Kiku doesn't make her full appearance until the Wano arc. The unforgettable nature of her significant impact during the Wano arc has earned her the place as the 10th best female One Piece character. Despite her superior swordsmanship abilities, Kiku is trying to blend in with the civilians when she is first introduced, while waiting for those sent into the future to return and mount an attack against Onigashima. Her skill is alluded to Reiju before her demonstration, and when she finally takes action, she lives up to expectations. She aids Luffy in Udon prison by telling the other prisoners who she is, and is the first to deal a major blow to the traitorous Kanjuro. At number 9, a terrifying Charlotte Linlin, Big Mom herself. While far from the most likable character in the series, Big Mom Charlotte Linlin is a rare example of an excellently written shonen villainess who is actually terrifying. Formerly the only female member of the Four Emperors, and a major antagonist in multiple arcs, Big Mom is in charge of the enormous and powerful Charlotte family, as well as the intimidating Big Mom pirates, making her one of the most formidable powerhouses in the New World. Despite One Piece's notoriety for rarely diversifying its female character designs, Big Mom is a refreshing example of a villainess who not only acts, but looks scary. Childish, cruel, and gluttonous, she represents all the worst aspects of piracy that Luffy and his allies try to overthrow. That, paired with her strength, makes her an exceptional antagonist. Number 8 is Perona. Introduced as a minor villain working under Gecko Moria during the Thriller Bark arc, Perona is a childish, eccentric young woman who manages to capture fans' hearts despite her difficult personality. Overconfident and naive, Perona didn't pose much of a threat to the Straw Hats once Usopp proved immune to her devil fruit abilities. Despite this, she left an impression due to her adorable gothic design and unique despair-inducing devil fruit power. Even after spending a while in the reticent Dracule Mihawk's care, Perona remains true to her childlike nature. Even if she acts a bit more mature after the time skip, she is still demanding of his time and attention, even though she is technically a guest in his house. However, fans still adore her, despite Perona's many flaws. Coming in at number 7, an honorary member of the Straw Hat Pirates, the Alabasta Kingdom Princess Nefertari Vivi has spent a significant part of Luffy's early adventures as one of the crew. In the time it took the Straw Hats to reunite Vivi with her kingdom and free Alabasta from Sir Crocodile's reign, the princess became dear to both fans and the crew. Vivi has an unconventional personality for someone of her status, being big-hearted, determined, and selfless since early childhood. While her duties as the Princess of Alabasta, in the end, outweighed her desire to adventure, Vivi remained closely allied with the Straw Hats, aiding Luffy from the sidelines. This is becoming increasingly pertinent during the Egghead arc, as she is on the run from the world government and potentially able to rejoin the Straw Hats as a member. At number 6, Dr. Kureha, the eccentric doctor of Drum Island, Tony Chopper's homeland. Dr. Kureha, who also goes by Doctorine, is an unorthodox heroine even by One Piece standards. Called a witch for her idiosyncratic treatment of patients and overall peculiar demeanor, Kureha is an elderly woman who, despite her age, possesses more fire and passion than most. Taking Chopper in after Dr. Hiruluk's death, Kureha becomes a mother figure and mentor for the outcast reindeer, and in this bond, Doctorine showcases some of her most virtuous qualities. Despite only being a part of the story for a short while, Dr. Kureha remains one of the series' most dearly beloved. Hold up, before we enter the top 5, here's something special for all the true One Piece fans out there. We're thinking of launching a brand new Sunday special show, where we break down the latest One Piece news, spoilers, theories, and more every single week. But I need to know, should we start it? Would you tune in every Sunday for an epic dive into the One Piece world? Let me know in the comments below and hit that like button if you're on board. And of course, subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss the very first episode. Number 5 is Uta from One Piece film. Despite becoming a part of One Piece's lore quite recently, Uta didn't take long to become one of the most beloved heroines in the series. Introduced in One Piece film Red, Uta was integrated into the grander narrative as Shanks' adoptive daughter and a famous in-universe pop star. After accidentally triggering a tragedy on Elegia Island and consequently parting ways with Shanks, Uta becomes possessed by her idealism and uses her devil fright powers to attempt to kill everyone. However, One Piece film Red sees her gradually realize the faults of her ways and return to the optimistic and determined girl Luffy befriended as a kid. These glimpses of who Uta is, combined with her current idealism and power, have earned her the number 5 spot on any list of the best One Piece girls, movies included. Much of Uta's charm in the movie comes from Ado, one of Japan's most impressive modern vocalists. By Ado lending her voice to Uta, One Piece film Red has a powerful soundtrack that is both emotional and catchy. At number 4, it's the pirate empress herself, Boa Hancock. Considered the most beautiful woman both in-universe and by many One Piece fans, Boa Hancock is much more than just her good looks. Hancock performed impressive feats as a pirate and the Snake Princess of Amazon Lily, and she led her warriors with vigor and self-assured conviction. Her accomplishments have earned her a formidable reputation, and she became the only known female warlord in the organization's history. At first glance, it's easy to dismiss Hancock as vain due to her obsession with beauty and the fact that her devil fruit powers revolve around people falling in love with her. Yet, there's depth to her character, as she consistently proves herself to be a compassionate, dignified heroine in both how she aids Luffy and how she rules her people, overriding her previous villainous reputation, at least in the eyes of Luffy. Number 3 is Jewelry Bonney, Big Eater. Jewelry Bonney is one of the most intriguing female characters in One Piece, whose story is still unfolding in the final saga. An adoptive daughter of Bartholomew Kuma, Bonney used to suffer from a deadly disease known as sapphire scales, but was cured through Kuma's sacrifice of his humanity. After becoming a pirate, Bonney uses her devil fruit powers to appear as a young woman despite actually only being 12 years old. However, Bonnie's real age is reflected in her boisterous, vulgar personality. Eccentric and unruly, Bonney is beloved by fans. Yet, the depth and warmth lying in her heart, especially when it comes to her relationship with Kuma, also play a big part in making Bonney likable. Altogether, her resolute determination to find out what happened to her father makes Bonney an unforgettable One Piece girl. At number 2, the Devil Child, Nico Robin, a heroine often credited with having the most impactful backstory in all of One Piece. Nico Robin is the sole survivor of the tragic Ohara Buster Call. She now acts as the Straw Hat's archaeologist, as well as resident information broker, in the sense that she is typically the one to know about current and past events of importance. By far the smartest member of Luffy's crew, Robin is known for her calm demeanor, unique devil fruit power, useful historical expertise, and somewhat macabre sense of humor. Similarly to many of Luffy's allies, Robin starts as an enemy. Her heartfelt arc of truly joining the crew in Enies Lobby is, to this day, considered one of the series' most powerful storylines. Level-headed and kind, Robin is adored by fans for her conviction, strength of character, and wisdom. As recent arcs, such as the Zoo and Wano arcs, have introduced more humor into her character, she continues to grow in depth. And finally, number 1, Nami. The title of One Piece's best girl goes, without a doubt, to the first woman to join the future Pirate King on his quest, the gorgeous navigator Nami. Nami is the person responsible for keeping the crew on course, both in terms of navigating their route and making sure her more reckless teammates don't get themselves into too much trouble. While not the strongest asset to the Straw Hats in terms of fighting prowess, Nami is one of the smartest characters in the series, and her wit is a reliable aid both in battle and in delicate situations that call for deceit or manipulation. She is an expert at reading maps, assessing weather, and using log poses, just to name a few examples, and is skilled at thievery as well. All told, Nami the Navigator remains one of the most universally beloved heroines in the entire show, and rightfully so.